10 of the most bizarre cases on Dr. Phil. The things that go on in the world are so crazy, you wouldn't picture any of them in your wildest imagination. Thank God for Dr. Phil, the show that lets us see the world and people for what they are. Some of these stories are too crazy, you would think they're fabricated. Here are 10 of the most bizarre cases on Dr. Phil. Number 10 is the craziest, so stick around till the end, you won't believe it. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. Let's get it going. Slept with teenage daughter's boyfriend. Danny and Stephanie say growing up in the suburbs with their mother, Cammie, was perfect. She was their greatest supporter and a great mom overall. But this all changed about 11 years ago. Stephanie said that when she was 16 years of age, her mom had an affair with a teenage boy she liked, and he got pictures of them red-handed in the act. Everyone at Stephanie's school found out about the saga. She was now known as the girl whose mother had slept with a student. You know how kids can get, so she was bullied up until she graduated. Poor girl. Well, if you think that's all this mother has done, think again. Other than being a bad example to her kids, she was also a drug addict. She would steal purses in church and in parent-teacher meetings to get money for her addiction. She served time in jail, was released, and is currently homeless living in the streets. She has been arrested a total of 12 times for other crimes which were not disclosed in the show. What a way to live life. Here's the story of a former Marine who gets spat on in the streets, has his glasses broken by strangers, and spray painted in the face for what he did. Not all heroes are celebrated. Served in the Marines. Or did he? Brave members of the United States Armed Forces risk their lives to serve their country. These heroes spend years away from their families in the most dangerous places in the world. Some of them make it back, while some, unfortunately, don't. For those who make it, they are celebrated and live on with the scars of their experience. Those who don't are forever engraved in our hearts to never be forgotten. Michael says he was a former Marine Corps helicopter pilot who incurred several injuries and had significant health concerns. He also had a dog who was a bomb sniffer and had saved his life at least twice. He is currently a widower, left to raise his kids alone. Sounds like a sad story, right? Who wouldn't want to help him? If only it were all true. Michael is a liar and a manipulator who takes advantage of people by sharing these fabricated lies for money.
I later found out that virtually everything he told me was a lie.
He has dug his own grave. Today, everywhere he goes, people bully him around and do horrible things to him. At one time, someone posted on his Facebook that he should be shot. They say teenagers are a handful. You haven't seen what they're capable of until you watch our next scene. Simply unbelievable. Daughter who lied about being molested by her father. Both Jill and Brent are used to their daughter Kendall's accusations. After every few months, she comes up with a new allegation against her parents. It all started 2.5 years ago when her two parents divorced. The teenager went on to accuse Jill, her sister Lindsay, and Brent of physically abusing her. Her allegations were unfounded and shunned by the authorities. She didn't stop there. This young girl was on a mission. Her target? Getting her parents in jail. She went on to accuse her father of throwing a massive book at her, busting her lip in the process.
And he threw a book and 2 pairs of Converse at me. He picked up the book and he threw it at me, and it hit me in the lip and it busted my lip.
When detectives discovered inconsistencies in her story, they also shunned it off. You would think she would give up at this point, but nope, she continued with her absurd accusations. About a month ago, Kendall reported that her father had been sexually molesting her from when she was a child. Brent, the accused, is currently in shock, angry at his daughter, and utterly heartbroken.
I'm still in shock and heartbroken. The bottom line on these accusations of molestation, they're completely false. Now,
he can't believe she would go to such lengths to get him into trouble with the law. He hasn't talked to her since. Kidnapping has become so common. Every other day, people and kids go missing. Some make it, but almost 90% of them are never seen or heard of again. Here's the story of one 5-year-old who fought off and overcame her attacker's plans. Kidnapped at the age of 5. Am I going to make it out alive? Those were the horrifying thoughts of a 5-year-old, Brittany Fish, who was abducted in broad daylight years ago. The toddler was riding her scooter outside her home. A man came out of nowhere and grabbed her, pushing her into his white car. He went on to duct tape her whole head and tied her arms back with barbed wire. The little girl wasn't sure what was going on. She was beyond terrified that this was her last day on Earth. The kidnapper dumped her under a tarp in a warehouse a couple of houses away. She spent the night there in the cold all alone. The next morning, Bill heard the young girl's noises and went to check it out. He found the child in distress, wrapped up and struggling to escape. Kevin Schaus, the man behind the crime, was arrested a year later. He was found guilty of 2 other crimes, one molesting a 4-year-old and another for kidnapping another. Brittany also found out that after her abduction, the kidnapper had visited her neighborhood hoping to kidnap her again. What a sick man. He deserves to rot in jail. Mistreated at home. Adriana, age 17, has been out of school for a whole year after her mother told her to stay home so she could take care of her 6 siblings. Her 2 younger sisters have disabilities and require attention 24/7.
2 youngest kids have disabilities, and my second to youngest child.
Adriana, being the nice girl she is, agreed to it. She followed her mom's ideas, but deep down she wanted to finish high school so she could get into college. Her mother told her she could homeschool, but it has now been 12 months, and the teenager has not been under any educational program. Other than denying her child the right to having an education, Whitney has been verbally and physically abusive. She often tells her daughter she hates her and every once in a while punches her. One time when Adriana was depressed, she told her mom she was ready to end her life.
Adriana told me that she was going to kill herself, and I told her that I would go get a beer and watch.
You would think this would change her mom and make her more affectionate, but it didn't. Instead, she told her depressed child that she would sip on a beer as she watched her daughter end her miserable life. Who does that? Adriana doesn't like her mother. I mean, I can't say I blame her. She once called her former teacher and said she had enough of it and couldn't take anymore. She later on moved out of the house and moved in with her teacher, Jennifer. When Jennifer confronted the mom, she blatantly said her daughter was up for adoption and she wanted her out of her life. What would make you hate your child to such an extent? They say no man has a good enough memory to be a successful liar. It only takes one time to slip up, and the truth will be unveiled. You won't believe what lies our next case was capable of. Get ready to be entirely shocked. A parasitic psychopath. Sarah lives in a bubble. She has created a world in her head that contradicts what's happening in reality. She enjoys lying to her family, friends, and even strangers. She has created so many stories and fabricated lies to get people to support her. She met Brian and Liz a year ago through a charity bike ride. She let them know she had terminal breast cancer and had been given a few days to live. She also continued to share that she had a husband called Bendy and there was a stalker woman who wanted to kill her to get her husband. The couple was obviously freaked out. They felt sorry for this woman who was terminally ill yet still going through a lot. It got to a point where all the stories were getting out of hand. At one time she called Liz and shared that she was being attacked by her stalker who had a gun. I mean, who has time to stop and text when being chased by a stalker? Something didn't add up, so Brian went on to investigate. What he found out changed everything. She had lost her nursing license a few years ago due to lying. She had faked multiple pregnancies. That's when it all started to make sense. If she would be lying about a pregnancy, she could also be lying about cancer, her husband, and her stalker. Brian confronted her and she couldn't deny anything.
The cancer, but the love that I had for you guys was like all of it again.
That's where you don't understand.
And she confessed to all her lies. She was brought onto the show to help her change her impulse lying behavior. We later found out that this sweet couple weren't the only ones affected. She had lied so many times to so many other people, including international cancer organizations who had been sending this woman money. The nerve on her. Many of us have lost someone to cancer. For Sarah to lie about this fatal disease makes her a complete psychopath. Love is love, and people should be allowed to love freely, but some people take it too far. Here's one unbelievable couple. I saved the best for last, but first I have a quick challenge that takes only 5 seconds to complete. So if you can leave a like and subscribe within the next 5 seconds, you'll get 10 years of amazing luck. Just try it. It really works. Married into my family. Newlyweds Michael and Angie look like the perfect couple. He's my true love. She's my first love. These are words the two commonly utter when they are around family and friends. They are clearly madly in love with each other and could pass for a couple of the year.
With meeting a new woman. I trust her know her mind, I know.
The only problem is that they're first cousins. Yes, you heard that right. Not distant cousins, but first. One of their parents are blood siblings. Such arrangements are illegal, but not everywhere. The couple went to Colorado, one of the few states to recognize first cousin relationships, and got married. Since they went public with their marriage, they have received continuous hate messages from people all over the world.
And more importantly, the relationship is breaking the law. I don't know why they're not in jail already. Angie and Michael are so full of themselves, it makes me.
Their family members have disowned them and are utterly disgusted with their relationship. Their love has overshadowed all the hate as they claim to have a stronger bond now more than ever. Everyone in the audience was shocked. It's tough to imagine going to bed with your cousin. I can't help but wonder what the kids will call each other. Will it be cousin or brother? Sister? Thanks for watching and have an excellent day.